Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 492 based on novel. So let's start. Wonderful. Tai Shu's sword intent is determined, it is truly invincible in the world. After a period of dead silence, the corners of the dark demon's mouth rose up, revealing a look of surprise, palms slapped, and there was a burst of particularly harsh applause. It seems to be congratulating the terrifying ultimate move of immortal Tai Shu. To be able to resist the attack of Bloodstone Evil Venerable so easily, the strength of this guy is simply indescribable. Everyone, this is your end. Immortal Tai Shu looked at the demon of darkness with some doubts. For some reason, he seemed to feel a tremor from this handsome man who seemed harmless to humans and animals. Such a feeling, looking at the center of the entire immortal world, he only felt it from the Emperor of Heaven and King Shura, the god of war. Impossible. Seeing that such a terrifying attack of himself was easily resolved by immortal Tai Shu, the Bloodstone Evil Venerable sneered at the hideous face, a burst of livid. I've said it long ago that the powerhouses in the center of the immortal realm are like clouds. The demon of darkness didn't seem to be surprised, but shook his head gently at the Bloodstone Evil Venerable. This is the third shrine so troublesome. What kind of existence are the second divine palace and the heavenly emperor in the center? Dark demon, you must explain this to me. The anger filled the air, and on the body of the Bloodstone Evil Lord, bursts of black flames began to linger, and a terrifying aura filled the air. The pinnacle of the 5th level reincarnation? What's the matter? But why does this breath have a lot of floating meaning? Looking at the black flame emanating from Bloodstone Evil Venerable, this guy's strength was completely exposed to immortal Tai Shu's eyes. The strength of the two seems to be about the same. They are all the pinnacles of the 5-fold reincarnation order. Explain. After you obliterate it, I will naturally explain it to you. If you can't kill him, then this plan will end in failure. The demon of darkness shook his head slightly regretfully, but there was still no trace of any shot, and he was just like an outsider watching a play from beginning to end. Asshole. The piercing roar poured out from the mouth of the Bloodstone Evil Venerable, and there was a faint trace of an attack on the dark demon. The only strong man among the 4 Red King ranks quietly stood beside the demon of darkness, as if he wanted to shelter the latter. Do not forget our agreement. I'm only in charge of the Heavenly Emperor, the rest. In the face of the angry Bloodstone Evil Venerable, the dark demon was a little calmer. Join us and kill him together. Bloodstone Evil Venerable gritted his teeth and stared at immortal Tai Shu with a ferocious gaze, his incomparably cold tone spreading rapidly. The black demon, the withered corpse demon, and the red-haired succubus stepped out together, forming a 4-corner encirclement with them, surrounding the immortal Tai Shu. Looking at this situation, immortal Tai Shu's eyes narrowed, and the muscles all over his body began to tighten, and he couldn't help but be vigilant. The seemingly easy sword just now consumed 50% of his reincarnation power. Now the 4 people are besieging him, and the pressure is doubled. You wait for 3 people, sacrifice the blood of the devil. On the palm of the Bloodstone Evil Venerable, suddenly there is a gloomy bloodstone, and there are countless blood-colored reptiles squirming on the bloodstone, which is especially scary. The sound of their biting and chewing, as if possessing some kind of magic power, tormented the soul of immortal Tai Shu, as if all the power was under its mouth, and it was as fragile as a piece of paper. The 3 of them looked at each other, although they hesitated in their hearts, but in the next moment, they bit their tongues at the same time, and 3 drops of scarlet blood essence spurted out of their bodies. In an instant, endless evil power poured out from the 3 drops of blood essence, turned into a storm of evil spirits, raging out, and the evil fluctuations contained in it made the whole world crumbling. Bloodstone. Suppression. Looking at this scene, there was a maddening smile on the face of Bloodstone Evil Venerable, and with a big wave, he directly poured 3 drops of blood essence into the bloodstone. The bloodstone, which had always been quiet, suddenly surged. The blood and rain were rolling between the heavens and the earth, and the eerie evil power filled the air, which actually caused the complexion of Tai Shu Immortal to change constantly. 2 empty armor. Feeling such a huge pressure, immortal Tai Shu looked solemn. After a while, he took out an ancient armor covered with silver patterns from the NA ring he was wearing on his finger and put it on his body. You forced me. Go to hell. Controlling the bloodstone, the power of the Bloodstone Evil Venerable became unfathomable. The whole body stood proudly at the top of the sky, let the blood and blood rain be squandered, looked at the immortal Tai Shu with contempt, and roared. The current self, Fang, is the true master of this world, accept the trial. Boom. With a heavy wave of the palm, the bloodstone was immediately affected by 3 drops of blood essence, and there were countless tiny creatures crawling down on it, and they continued to wreak havoc on the immortal Taishu. Those creatures gushing out of the bloodstone are like ants, like reptiles that devour everything, but where such tens of thousands of huge populations whizzed past, the void collapsed, and all the power left in it seemed to be swallowed up by it. Clean. As he swayed, his skin and hair stood up uncontrollably, and a fear of death gushed out from immortal Taishu's heart. 2 void armor, invincible. Immortal Taishu realized that this kind of attack was no trivial matter, and immediately closed his eyes, urging this immortal artifact to release the most ancient brilliance of power to protect himself. Tear him apart for me. Whether it is his flesh and blood body or soul, it's all yours. Bloodstone Evil Venerable's ferocious voice is particularly harsh. One attack and one defense spread in the small world. With such a terrifying force, countless forces poured out everywhere, twisting and swallowing this void. In just a few breaths, there was chaos everywhere, and the black hole vortex continued to pour out. Grown-ups. Looking at this scene, the always quiet last Hong Wangjie couldn't bear to make a sound. The demon of darkness shook his head slightly, and immediately started to move. Too empty. Your heart is messed up. There was no panic on that young and handsome face. Instead, there was a faint smile, bypassing the core of the attack and confrontation in an instant, and came behind Immortal Taishu. Do not. Immortal Taishu seemed to realize something and lost his voice. Crack. A dark red rune, like a of death, quietly fell, and in the form of lightning, lightly opened Taishu Immortal's chest. Your heart is hot. It's blood red. Looks like I was wrong. The demon of darkness waved his hand and began to flip in the chest of Immortal Taishu, as if he was looking for something. After a while, he found the slowly beating heart, and just said with a guilty face. Crack. With a bang, the heart shattered, and the vast power of reincarnation and life began to shatter little by little. Your power. A mouthful of blood spurted out Immortal Taishu's body suddenly shook the demon of darkness, and the shock on his face could not be further increased. The two performed the most deadly attack and defense confrontation, and they couldn't draw their hands. The attack of the demon of darkness and the instant defeat of the Immortal Taishu, even the great void armor, the sound of cracks on it kept ringing. It finally shattered with the cooperation of the two powerhouses. Tear off. A mysterious scroll was torn apart, and Immortal Taishu immediately went deeper with his severely injured body. Be careful, this guy wants to run. Don't worry, he can't run. Put a long line and catch big fish. Let's go to the meeting, the so-called Lord of the Immortal Realm. No, it should be said that he is the guy who claims to be the Lord of the Heavenly Realm. The voice fell, and the vast magic cloud began to move, and it turned out to be swept towards the center. A mouthful of blood continued to pour out of the escaped Taishu Immortal's mouth. The Taishu armor is broken, and if it is not repaired in time, it may be useless in the future. But now that I can't protect myself, I am afraid this artifact can only look like this. His heart was torn apart just now, but it was forged by his own origin, and now it has been destroyed by the demon of darkness. With this seriously injured body, he should be powerless to return to the sky. No, even if this seat falls here, I must report this matter to Lord Heavenly Emperor. Let Lord Tiendi find a countermeasure. He dragged his body heavily and crawls forward quickly. It's just that Immortal Taishu has been puzzled. The strength of that guy's fivefold reincarnation rank is already enough to be on the rank of the 7 evil gods outside the rank. Why is the Bloodstone Evil Venerable only a half-evil god? What's more, the strength of the demon of darkness is uncertain, and it is vaguely superior to the Bloodstone Evil deity. Too weird. The ranks and strengths of the foreign evil races are extremely strict, and their rank status and strength are undoubtedly the existences that best reflect their value, but now this scene really puzzles them. Even in the end, the demon of darkness was able to ignore the intersection of their powers and use certain powers to shatter their origin. This scene poured into his mind, making Immortal Taishu feel a sense of imminent disaster. The voice fell, and he jumped over the second shrine, facing the center of the fairy world. Looking at its appearance, it is obvious that it is swept away from the center of the heaven and headed to the shrine of the Emperor. Second shrine, the residence of King Shura, god of war. It seems that they are all in the first shrine at this moment. The Lord of the Heavens, the Emperor of Heaven. The pinnacle powerhouse of the extraterritorial evil race. After a long time, Xiao Yan and the others also came to the second shrine. Looking at the mysterious arrangement in the shrine, they didn't find any suspicious aura, and immediately whispered. Xiao Yang, you must not reveal your Xiao family identity. Her heart was beating quietly, and Yarrow Ling shook her head suddenly, as if she was afraid of something. With the strength and conduct of the Heavenly Emperor, once Xiao Yang's true identity is discovered, the consequences will be disastrous. Well, let's go. After speaking, the four of them left here together. In the deepest part of the glazed glass road, the whole body is filled with silver radiance, just like the end of the center of this fairyland. Whether it is the concentration of energy or the stability of space, it is the most powerful existence in the entire fairyland. At this time, in the dark passage, countless silver energies flickered like thunder, which set off a quaint giant hall and slowly poured out. There is no one in the second shrine. It seems that the real highlight is about to begin. Here is the head of the shrine. The magic cloud rolled, and after everyone took a rest, they came to the last shrine. The shrine in front of it is very different from other shrines. The silver plaque seems to be filled with the fluctuations of the years, and a trace of complex silver power is entrenched outside the entire mansion. After smelling the silver power, the withered bone corpse demon and the red-haired succubus actually felt a long-lost terror in their hearts. This kind of fluctuation seems to have surpassed any powerhouse they come into contact with. That is enough to exist side by side with the 7 evil gods outside the territory. A solemn look appeared in his eyes, and even the surging of those evil forces slowed down. Don't worry, everything is under control. Seeing the four of them look like this, the demon of darkness smiled faintly, and there was a sense of calmness in the smile. Seems like it's all under his control. God. At this time, the other four were reassured by him and calmed down slightly. Afterwards, the 4 people, including Bloodstone Evil Zun's eyes, poured out a strong fighting spirit, and only the demon of darkness looked at the shrine in front of him with a fiery face. Bai Ying, be optimistic about the powerhouses in the center of the immortal realm who were caught and suppressed by us. Their presence is the key to our victory. Evil Lord, let's go. The demon of darkness turned his head and spoke to the Red King Step, who was following him. Devil of darkness, Heavenly Emperor's strength is profound, I can't help you too much. Xie Zun did not move rashly, but stood there and said, this is the last battle in the center of the fairy world. Go. Just after the 6 people finished speaking, they stepped into the mansion one after the other. Countless devil clouds were surging outside, and it seemed that they wanted to enter the shrine with the 6 people, but those silver powers burst out with a monstrous divine aura, completely blocking them out. Inside the palace of the Emperor of Heaven and Earth, the World Lord, the big thing is bad. Panic voices poured into the shrine. What's the matter, disturbing this Emperor? In the silver-white thunder world, a low roar sounded. Lord Tiendi. The evil races from outside the realm attacked the immortal realm, and the immortal realm has been occupied for 3 days. Furthermore, of the 16 shrines in the center of our immortal realm, 14 have all fallen. Immortal Taishu looked remorseful. Although he couldn't see the real body of the Emperor, he still spoke to this world. Oh! Listening to these words, the emotion in the voice of the Heavenly Emperor clearly changed, and it immediately turned into a silver ball of lightning, appearing beside the seriously injured immortal Taishu. Boundary Lord, please act decisively, otherwise our heaven. Immortal Taishu's last spirit body spoke tremblingly, as if he was instinctively afraid of the Heavenly Emperor. It's delicious. Involuntarily, the thunderball whistled, and all the remaining power of Immortal Taishu was instantly swallowed up by it. Immortals as strong as Taishu also completely disappeared in this world, annihilating both form and spirit. Extraterritorial Evil Clan, and the taste of Xiao Clan. It seems that I should cooperate with you to perform a good show together. Let me see whether it is the path of the evil god's promotion or the path of my ascension. The destruction of the heavens and the destruction of the outer world, which one will you choose? I'm really looking forward to it. And there are descendants of the Xiao family and several kinds of holy flames, rustling. The sound fell, and the entire silver thunder world was at peace, but this thunder world full of chaotic power turned into a scene of Tianqi little by little. Countless thunders humming in the Tianqi, it turned out to be a huge thunder square. There is nothing on the square, except for those cathartic thunder sounds. In the entire shrine, there is only deep the void floats. It seems that the Emperor did it on purpose, and he didn't want people to know that he had mastered the power of chaos. Moreover, this Tianqi has a strange shape, as if it appeared to greet someone. The 6 ghosts whistled and silently poured into the Heavenly Emperor shrine. At the moment when several people were puzzled, the void of Tianqi was suddenly torn apart by an invisible palm, and a faint door of light, accompanied by a terrifying force that surpassed the heavens and the earth, filled out. The 6 people looked up and saw that directly above the void of Leiqi Square, the door of light surged, and a majestic figure holding a thunder fan appeared like a ruler of heaven and earth who truly surpassed all things. One step out of the void, all the energies of heaven and earth faded in an instant, and even the evil power in the 6 evil shadows seemed to be under some kind of fatal threat. That is, the strongest person in the center of the fairy world. Lord of the heavens. Heavenly Emperor. In the vast world of Tianqi, the grand sacred thunder resounded through the heavens and the earth, lingering for a long time, as if some ancient aura suppressed the evil fluctuations in the 6 people, making them panic. I saw the magnificent figure holding a silver thunder fan moving slightly, and the silver thunder that whistled all over exudes some kind of mysterious and complicated power. Repressed. Wearing a silver robe, the Heavenly Emperor stood with one hand, and one hand gently incited the thunder fan, as if the whole world was alive or dead in just one thought. The Lord of the Immortal Realm has a great reputation. Ha ha. The Demon of Darkness and the Bloodstone Evil Venerable took a step forward, and the endless evil power rolled around, as if resisting such a terrifying power of thunder for the 4 people behind them. 2.5 evil gods, 4 red kings. This lineup of all of you is a bit terrifying. But you can't wait to shrink outside your territory and step into my world without authorization. You can't find death. The cold voice of Tiendi Sen echoed in the thunder void, and the vast thunderous sound hummed, instantly covering the entire Tianqi. Humph. The 2 half-evil gods snorted coldly at the same time, and the evil bloodlight lingering around their bodies slowly protected the bodies of the sick. Even so, they couldn't be safely sheltered, because the thunder arcs that flowed out from the thunder square and the void actually quietly flowed through their bodies, causing bursts of heart palpitation. This kind of thunder power is probably the strongest thunder they have ever seen. Holy, just right. There is even a strong and unruly aura that actually suppresses the evil power that is swallowing up their bodies. It's really you. It's just what I didn't expect. During the First World War, a deserter in 1,000 worlds would actually become the strongest who ruled one realm. Suddenly, bursts of dark red demonic energy appeared on the face of the Demon of Darkness, and his eyes slowly stared at the Emperor in front of him. I didn't expect that an extraterritorial ant who was not even a mere king at the time would actually have the courage to assemble a large army to attack my heaven without authorization. The Heavenly Emperor didn't seem to be angry, and his tone was calm, as if he was telling a common thing. Without further ado, come here today to take your dog's life. A moth like you in the Great Thousand World, even if it were to die in my hands, it would be considered a blessing in disguise for the Great Thousand World. The body of the dark demon began to transform, and endless evil forces began to gather. Go ahead. Let me see how much you have become stronger in tens of thousands of years. The Heavenly Emperor lazily incited the thunder fan, and the silver thunderbolts quietly hibernated behind them. They were like elite soldiers ready to go. Once the Heavenly Emperor gave the order, they would probably launch the most deadly attack. Among the silver thunderbolts, it is not an ordinary thunderbolt, because there is already a trace of mysterious fluctuations above the thunderbolt. This kind of thunder power, even if it is compared to the power of the Thunder Master's Grey Thunder, I am afraid it is not too much of an existence. That is the supreme thunder of the heavens, and its power is too appalling. Dark heaven. The Demon of Darkness sneered sneeringly, waved his sleeves, and a monstrous rich evil energy spewed out. The black evil energy that covered the sky and the sun just spread, and the entire thunder world was buzzing, as if there were some extremely evil creatures hiding in it. The next moment, there seemed to be a low-pitched roar in the black evil energy, and dark red evil giant beasts burst out. Above each giant beast, there was an illusory magic spell. The evil beasts have different shapes, such as thunder lions, like fierce apes, but without exception, they are all carefully refined by the Demon of Darkness. With the blessing of the illusory dark magic spell, they all exude an astonishing effect. Fluctuation. Tear off. Heavenly Emperor stepped on the divine thunder, raised his hand like in different eyes, and the thunder fan gently stirred. The silver thunder fan broke away from the palm in an instant, and immediately turned into a vast net of thunder, raging out. The two just contacted, and suddenly there were no extra waves. I saw countless evil beasts turned around in an instant, and then their bodies were shaken, surrounded by lightning nets, and they easily disappeared here after a struggle. The thunder world is returning to normal, and the evil spirits that cover the sky seem to be short-lived, too short-lived. Looking at such a simple fight, the eyes of the 4 withered corpse demons froze violently. The strength of the so-called Lord of the Heavens, the Emperor of Heaven, is too terrifying, right? The strength of the Demon of Darkness is not comparable to that of the Bloodstone Evil Venerable, and now he has become so cowardly in front of the Heavenly Emperor. The whole world was at peace, and the Heavenly Emperor's eyes were slowly watching the 6 people in front of him. There seems to be some familiar aura on you. It's The people in the center of our fairyland, right? The Emperor of Heaven suddenly looked at Bai Ying, and with his sense of smell and induction, it was not difficult to find that he should be carrying some mysterious treasure on his body, and that treasure seemed to suppress the breath and life of several people. It's really useless. Realizing that the great power in the center of the digital fairyland was suppressed and defeated by the 6 people in front of him, the Emperor did not show any anger, but just shook his head. This guy. The demon of darkness shook violently, and immediately stabilized, the evil power in the body boiled, and a more powerful attack was brewing. Dark Heaven Demon Finger. The demon of darkness ignored the Heavenly Emperor, raised his palm frantically, and folded his fingers together. The monstrous evil aura poured out of his body and poured into his fingertip. Under the infusion of such overwhelming demonic energy, the dark demon's fingertips suddenly became dark and deep, the fingertips swayed gently, and the surrounding void was forcibly smashed away by it. Fall for me. The sound of roar sounded, and an arm-sized black light suddenly burst out from his fingertip. Wherever the black light passed, whether it was the thunder square or the void, a huge crack was forcibly torn out, an extremely terrifying destructive power emerged. The ants, who have not survived the 6 tribulations, are also trying to fight with me. They are beyond their own power. The Emperor of Heaven slowly walked from the void, but he was not afraid of such a terrifying killer move as the demon of darkness, and smiled lightly at the corner of his mouth. The strength of this guy is also the peak of the 5th layer reincarnation. The 2 half-evil gods, in many places in the Great Thousand World, can be regarded as nightmare-like existences, but in front of them, they are as ridiculous as ants. Too weak. Just when the dim light was about to penetrate the Heavenly Emperor's body, the Heavenly Emperor quietly stretched out his palm, and as soon as his palm covered with countless mysterious thunderbolts touched it, the dim light was squeezed away by him. Sir, this. Looking at this scene, the expressions of the other 4 Red King rank powerhouses changed, and at the same time, there was a strong look of fear in their eyes. Their biggest reliance on this trip is the Devil of Darkness. Now the Devil of Darkness is in the hands of the Heavenly Emperor, being toyed with like a child. It seems that the overall situation is settled. The curse of darkness is restricted and cannot be used, so let's retreat first. The 2 attacks did not achieve any advantage, and the dark demon resisted the evil power tumbling in his body and shook his head. Since you're here, why rush to leave? Lei Yuan. Hanging. Seeing the evil spirits of Liu Dao running around like a bereaved dog, the Emperor of Heaven smiled lightly, and immediately reached out and squeezed hard against this piece of heaven and earth. In the void, suddenly there are countless silver thunder vortexes emerging like black holes, greedily swallowing all the creatures and powers in this void. As the thunder black hole rotated slightly, an extremely sacred and powerful phagocytic force erupted. Under such extreme power, once they are swallowed up by it, I am afraid that with the strength of the 6 of them, they can only end up in a dead end. Dark demon. You bastard, egg. In the void, the overwhelmed thunder black hole continuously erupted with powerful devouring power, which made the 6 people extremely fearful. Among them, Bloodstone Evil Lord looked at the dark demon who was overwhelmed in the distance and couldn't help cursing. Dark demon, the liar. His current strength simply can't handle the Heavenly Emperor. In this action, the demon of darkness claimed that he was ready for everything and only owed the east wind, and the Bloodstone Evil Spirit just got on this evil boat, but now this scene, but the evil spirit hates it. The demon of darkness has attacked the Heavenly Emperor twice, but now he is attacked by this silver black hole, his body is trembling, and a mouthful of dark red blood is sprayed directly, his complexion and breath are instantly pale. The 6 silver thunder black holes shook first, and immediately trapped the 6 people, and the continuous power of thunder bit their original evil energy and tore them out. Among the 6 people, except for the 2 half-evil gods and the remaining 4, faint sounds of broken fragments emerged, and the sound of miserable, mournful low-pitched roars reverberated throughout the whirl. Under the attack of this thunder black hole, the bodies of the 4 Red Kings are looming, and even their origins have been greatly damaged. If this continues, it is only a matter of time before they fall. His strength has already stepped into the 6th order, and the half-step 6th order information we know is wrong, and I don't know why, when I faced him, the dark magic spell in my body couldn't be used. It seemed that some power in him was suppressing me. The demon of darkness opened his mouth intermittently, his expression extremely regretful. The curse of darkness is different from ordinary evil tools, because it is a powerful evil that the devil of darkness fuses with his own origin. This is his greatest proof. Even if it is compared to the evil tools outside the realm, it is enough to rank in the top 10. Once he breaks through the evil rank, he can jump to the evil weapon, but now that it is limited and cannot be used, his overall strength is naturally greatly reduced. The plan now is to find a way to get out of here. There is a saying in the world that is good. Where there is life, there is hope. I'll cover you, go away. The demon of darkness looked remorseful and righteous, and directly twisted his severely injured body, and immediately jumped to the Heavenly Emperor. Looking at the appearance, it seems to be desperately preparing to cover the retreat of everyone. The curse of darkness cannot be used, and the tricks that the devil of darkness began to prepare to deal with the Emperor cannot be used. Hateful. Go away for this deity. Looking at the demon of darkness so dignified, Bloodstone Evil Venerable didn't have time to think, his whole body was shocked, and the tyrannical evil power instantly shook the demon of darkness. He knew very well that the 6 of them were all grasshoppers on the same boat. In the event of an accident, I am afraid that no one will be spared. The devil of darkness, the curse of darkness, this emperor has long been prepared. The Heavenly Emperor walked towards several people step by step, and while speaking, a faint golden light pattern appeared between his eyebrows. This light pattern doesn't seem to be of much use, but when it appeared, the entire body of the demon of darkness was suppressed too violently. Obviously, this was prepared by the Heavenly Emperor to deal with him. Heavenly Emperor, even if you are an unparalleled powerhouse of the 6th reincarnation level, this deity will definitely make you pay a terrible price today. After the Bloodstone Evil Venerable finished speaking, black flames appeared on his body, and he smiled directly at the Emperor of Heaven. Since there is no way to retreat, I am afraid there is only a battle to the death. It's just that this black flame is completely different from the past. What burns above the black flame is a wisp of blood, which is slightly demonic. The burning of black flames and blood, together with the evil power emanating from it, actually caused the Heavenly Emperor, who had always been indifferent, to frown. Evil Lord! The dark demon let out a low roar, as if he wanted to break free from the silver black hole and help the former, but there was a wave of weakness in his body, so he could only retreat to the side. It's just that under such a tense situation, no one noticed the crazy smile on the dark demon's cheek, and it disappeared in a flash. The old thing is just letting you linger for a while. The demon of darkness slowly backed away and walked towards the white eagle beside him. Grown-ups. Seeing this, Bai Ying said solemnly, as if the 2 of them had already been prepared. Let's start. This fellow Xiezun won't be able to stand still for a long time with his strength against the Heavenly Emperor. After the 2 of them finished speaking, Bai Ying suddenly pulled away his sleeves, and the silhouettes of people in a state of coma and sleep, like a miniature version of sand, stood silently on them. They are impressively digital powerhouses at the center of the immortal realm. At this moment, the strange purple-gold light above their heads seemed to have completely absorbed their power, and even a purple-gold gourd full of evil power appeared heavy on top of their heads as if filled with something. The power contained in the purple-gold gourd is even less conspicuous than the Heavenly Emperor of the 6th reincarnation rank. Evil blood, burn, sacrifice, boom. A long and complex incantation sang from the mouth of Bloodstone Evil Venerable, and the strength of this guy suddenly rose rapidly. Quasi 6th reincarnation level? Is it the method of spontaneous combustion evil tools outside the realm? However, your strength is not at the peak of the 5th layer reincarnation. It's floating, and I don't know what kind of method to help you grow. It's really interesting. Heavenly Emperor was a little surprised, but he still didn't dare to take it lightly. The 5th layer reincarnation rank and the quasi 6th layer reincarnation rank seem to be almost the same, but only a powerhouse of his level knows that the difference is very different. The abyss of black flame. Resist me. Bloodstone Evil Venerable sullenly grabbed the surrounding silver black holes with both hands. The black flames burned, and as the rounds of evil black holes emerged, it was like a cage, temporarily solving the crisis of the 5 people, and the circles of evil black holes erupted with a terrible phagocytic force enough to tear the space, and the silver black holes were deadlocked. There are 2 times, then let's play with you with great mercy. The Emperor of Heaven suddenly raised his head and looked at the edge of the Thunder Pond void. There seemed to be a few faint breaths that had sneaked in. Now that everyone has arrived, it's time to put on a good show. Evil heart-burning flames. Bloodstone Evil Venerable would not take into account the strange black flames and blood beating of the Heavenly Emperor, and he actually stretched out his palm and stood in front of him. The hands formed a series of seals, and the slightly dark black flames actually changed color strangely, blood red, just like the blood of human beings. The blood-colored flames that were evil enough to devour and annihilate the human mind rose into the sky, the thunder in the entire Thunder Pond suddenly disappeared, and the roar of the yin wind resounded throughout the Thunder Pond. A special flame transformed with evil power. Although it is not comparable to Shenyang, but with the strength of Bloodstone Evil Venerable, it should not be underestimated. In the void, the conversation between Xiao Yang and the others was rather weak, but a shock emerged in his heart. In this first shrine, in the world of Thunderpond, the stability and oppressive force are too tyrannical. What's more, the appearance of Bloodstone Evil Venerable today is clearly a symbol of hard work. The two half-evil gods and the Heavenly Emperor, who is stronger or weaker in this battle? In the Thunderpond realm, the 5 evil figures all hibernated quietly together, recovering their strength under the protection of the Bloodstone Evil Venerable. They knew that the prestige of the Heavenly Emperor was by no means a false name. Once the Evil Venerable has any trace of defeat, they must follow. Very good power. But the 7th evil tool on your body has already been completely destroyed by Immortal Taishu, and now only relying on this level of flame is too self-aware. The Heavenly Emperor slowly squatted in the void, and the piercing humming silver thunder around him madly revolved, vaguely turning into a very complicated black hole around his body. The power contained in the black hole seems to be the most mysterious power in the heaven. Once it is eroded and dragged into it, it will definitely die. Evil Flame. 9 Hells Evil Phoenix. Summoning the blood-colored flame after the fusion of his own life essence and blood and black flames, the Bloodstone Evil Venerable's smile became hideous, and he roared at the Emperor above. His voice was as violent as a wild beast. The evil spirit is monstrous, rendering the entire Tianqi like a real apocalyptic scene. Boom. As soon as the voice fell, the blood-colored evil flames entrenched around Bloodstone Evil Venerable surging violently, and then the void in front of him suddenly collapsed, and a 1,000-meter-long blood-colored creature stepped through the void and came to be able to burn and collapse the void of my Tianqi. But this thing is the gathering of evil forces into flames. Is the evil flame condensed? Although the attack of Bloodstone Evil Venerable was very terrifying, it was still penetrated by the Heavenly Emperor at a glance. At the same time, the Emperor of Heaven is like a bloodthirsty warrior, slowly condensing the thunder around him. Pieces of distorted and broken voices poured out of the void in front of them, and then a clear roar sounded in the sky. The blood-colored fire feathers of thousands of meters were slightly demonic and evil, violently instigated. The blood-colored fire roared, and an evil body with 9 hideous blood-colored heads. Fire Phoenix, gallop out. The 9 heads probed towards the Heavenly Emperor together, and the blood-colored flames and feathers waved around their bodies, as if with a destructive evil wave. Heavenly Emperor was stared at like this, but there was a brief dizziness in his mind. You are indeed qualified to be my opponent. The thunder of the heavens. Tianlei is calling. A low and crazy voice finally sounded from the mouth of the always calm Heavenly Emperor. Immediately, in the entire Thunderpond heaven and earth, as if being called by some kind of call, the void hummed and trembled, and cracks continued to pour out, among which there were silver lines of thunder. Countless silver lacy slowly gathered towards the Heavenly Emperor's body, and the roaring and violent energy actually caused the whole world to be completely turbulent. Thunder and lightning roared between the heavens and the earth, and the violent shaking fluctuations seemed to exude some kind of excitement, as if they were welcoming their sovereign king back. The thunder of heaven. In the dark, the corners of Xiao Yang's mouth and body surged at the same time, and the grey thunder that was deeply hidden in his body was uncontrollably agitated as if he had seen some kind of thunder force that was enough to make him face up to it. What happened? Due to the distance, the 4 of them shrank into a small group and hid in a narrow space, so Yun Yun was very concerned. Once she opened her mouth, she let out a soft breath of warm air at the base of Xiao Yang's ear. Startled by Yun Yun's actions, Xiao Yang frowned, but he endured it the next moment. The strength of this Heavenly Emperor cannot be underestimated. Xiao Yang hurriedly changed the subject. And the strength of that dark demon is probably not so simple. At the beginning, he secretly attacked the teacher and seriously injured the teacher with just one move. I don't believe his strength is only the peak of the 5th layer reincarnation. Yun Yun's pretty face was slightly crimson, and she immediately diverted her attention. No matter what, Heavenly Emperor can't lose. If he wins, that's fine. I'm afraid he will lose. Once the Heavenly Emperor fails, I am afraid that in the entire center of the immortal realm, no one will be able to stop them. Do not worry. Ha ha ha. Heavenly Emperor, this time, the deity will see how you deal with it. Breakthrough. After the 9-headed evil phoenix was summoned, the Bloodstone Evil Lord's whole body strength and chi and blood were almost wilted, just like an old man in the twilight, but he still looked at the Emperor with a crazy look on his cheeks. The attack is very strong, but just with this power, do you want to obliterate this Emperor? Heavenly Emperor spoke lightly, and there seemed to be a small thunder heart on the palm of his hand. Every time Lei Xin beats, that palpitation shakes everyone's heartstrings and origins. That is the thunder of the heavens, which controls the rules of the heavens, and it is not an existence that a mere half-evil can handle. Then, add 1. My life, bloodstone, melt it for me. Seeing the heavenly emperor like this, the bloodstone evil venerable seemed to be insane, and took out the extremely evil blood-colored stone directly from his chest. The blood-colored stones are covered with countless blood-colored patterns, densely packed like some kind of evil insects that devour everything. Seeing this, Johto Xiefeng burst into greedy expressions, and immediately swallowed it up. After swallowing the bloodstone, the size of the 9-headed evil phoenix swelled up instantly, and in a short moment, it had a huge body. The blood-colored flames in the body and some kind of ant-like creature buzzed with each other, bursting out the power. It shook the whole world, the kind of destructive fluctuations, indescribable. Then try it. At this moment, the contempt in the eyes of the heavenly emperor has all disappeared. Gathering the life-threatening blows of the semi-evil gods from outside the realm, even the emperor of heaven could smell a threat of death from it. 9 Phoenix Evil Eater. The dying bloodstone evil roared, and the huge fire phoenix, which was over 10,000 feet in size, suddenly raised its head to the sky and roared, and the evil blood-colored flames and black air disintegrated down. The body of the 9-headed evil phoenix disintegrated, turning into countless monstrous evil forces and blasting away at the emperor. Among them, 9 groups of blood-colored light beams like falling meteors with the power of the strongest and the evil, humming and suppressing. From a distance, it looks like a deadly shackle turned by 9 evil phoenixes, killing the heavenly emperor. Heart of Thunder. Heavenly emperor's complexion changed slightly, his palms suddenly lifted, and the thunderbolt heart quietly cut through the sky, facing the boundless monstrous evil force. Boom! The two just touched, and the sky of Tianqi was torn apart, and indescribable ripples of destruction spread wildly. The originally empty and stable thunder pond space was forcibly torn out of the abyss. In the abyss, the blood-colored flames hummed and exploded, and a touch that made the 5-layer reincarnation rank powerhouse feel the scalp numb, followed one after another. In the entire thunder pool, thunder light buzzed, wolves were unbearable, and the originally stable void also collapsed little by little. Thousands of Zhong thunder waves and evil waves raged everywhere, such a shocking battle to the sky, people could not help but stop breathing, stunned in place. This video will end here.